Hello, good evening. Well, it's an unusual time for me, 7:30 on a Wednesday. So we are on the Cardiff City Network. I was kind of saying in the preview, really, or in the post that I put about it, I feel as though I'm almost like about the 10,000th person to do a live stream on this route. And there's certainly been a lot, but hopefully we can still enjoy it, I think. So let's get going and let's load up Train Sim World 5. So I think the idea being perhaps have at least 2 or 3 runs anyway. We'll see how things go. And I feel as though so many people have already streamed this Cardiff City Network, but it'll be my first time to have a play on it, as well as hopefully we can see what's available. So it won't be a 4-hour stream, that's for sure. Perhaps I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, we'll see, perhaps an hour and a half, something like that. We'll see how things go. So I think I'm going to start off actually with one of those short runs. I can't remember if it is with the 153 or not. This is how prepared I am. But I want to do that run to begin with from Cardiff Central to Cardiff Bay. I just wanted to just have a quick look at that to begin with. I thought we'd start off at Cardiff Central, so that must be with the 150 then. I think you might be right. Yeah, There's I've just noticed that. I thought, oh crikey, I'm going up against the Thomas the Tank Engine stream. So, but yes, I'm not going to get myself involved in that one. Yes, it's only like it's Cardiff Queen Street to Cardiff Bay, isn't it? Right, okay. I'll tell you what, we'll do that then. We'll do the a Cardiff Central to Cogan to begin with, just a short 11 minutes thing, so we could start off at Cardiff Central. So we'll do that, I think. So which one we're looking at? The tell you what, we'll go for one a bit later in the day, just so as we get some proper daytime. Right, I'm changing my mind again. We'll do Cardiff Central to, I'm going to say Treherbert. I'm sure it's nothing like that, but that's what we'll do. So we'll do the 11:28 to Tango 20. Oh, excellent, the Mace Tage, yeah. Let's have a look. I've got no idea because I haven't played it at all yet, so let's see what we think of it. But I thought I'd start at Cardiff Central because it's the one thing I am pleased about is that at least they have got their act together in terms of actually getting more busy main stations, rather than when you think back to Barking or Birmingham New Street, where it was completely empty. So we'll see on that. Might be a quietish time of the day though, picking 11:28, but well, perhaps for the next run we'll do a more kind of rush hour-y type run, if you get rush hour in South Wales, that is. So we'll try the dreaded 150, and there's been all the talk about the sounds and everything else. So we'll see if they have been improved. I mean, the idea is they are supposed to be Armstrong Powerhouse sounds, aren't they? But I think people moan about the remixing of them. Just a quick look at the overall area. I'm trying to find the stadium. Where's it gone? I know it's here somewhere. Yeah, there it is, lurking. There's the river. That's an interesting looking advert, isn't it? Is that supposed to be just a picture, is it, of foliage on the side? I bet we can't get up to see if there's actually the pitch in place, but that looks quite nicely modelled. Of course, the scene of England's big win in the rugby last weekend, but for any Welsh viewers watching, there's been plenty of Welsh successes over the years over England, that's for sure. So seeing you round here looks a bit basic, doesn't it? But then it is kind of behind the stadium, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, let's get the train set up. Yeah, good evening, Gaming 85. I was a bit worried, like Amaze Taves was saying, you know, it's a question of have all the viewers abandoned us because everybody's watching the Thomas the Tank Engine stream. I haven't put any mods in, incidentally, so we've got the original track textures and everything else. Quite like the look of the weathered look about the platforms. They look quite nice. Good to see there's plenty of people about anyway. It's not totally quiet. There we go, I'm speeding already. Hope I've got the sound on loud enough. Funnily enough, it actually sounds quite quiet coming through the headset as things stand. Hope it's coming through okay. quite a climb up here, actually, isn't it? Just a short little hop to Cardiff Queen Street. So we are stopping at Cardiff Queen Street, Cafes, Llandaff and Rada. Did hear something down there? Oh yeah, that was it was a HSD. Yeah, I don't know whether you've managed to watch any of the... there's been an absolute load of streams, hasn't there, over the last couple of days. Yeah, looking at the roads there, that definitely doesn't look finished off, does it? I mean, that was something that Incredible Trains, I thought, did brilliantly on the London scene. I quite like the buildings in and around Cardiff, though. It's, again, you wonder if perhaps some of it's been totally finished. I'm looking forward mainly to driving the 153, really, but I thought I'd start off with the service out of Cardiff Central. I do like that sound of the braking. I like how they've applied the livery as well. It kind of has a slightly weathered feel about it, I think. It doesn't look as though it's kind of completely brand spanking new. Yeah, that's a good point, actually, isn't it? A lot of people have been streaming it on the console. I know there is ballast texturing already done, I noticed on the Train Sim Mod website, but I haven't had a chance to put that in just yet. I mean, I haven't really massively driven the 150 on West Cornwall local, and I know all the criticism it got on there. Yeah, if it sounds a bit quiet, give me a shout. All right, that's interesting. And do you think that's? Do you mean that he's actually got a version that's actually more advanced than the release one, or do you think it's just had a bit of a upgrade and polish since the preview stream? Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. It's funny with the headset. Sometimes it's coming through really, really loud, and then sometimes it's coming through quiet. It might actually be. I might be able to adjust the volume for my side at the moment shortly. I mean, it's one of those things that people talk about the sound from the West Cornwall local being bad, but it's difficult sometimes to kind of articulate what's really bad about it. quite short platforms. You know, I've never even noticed what length we are. Where are we? 2 car. I mean, I definitely do enjoy the idea of this network. The fact is that there's more than, you know, sort of just one end-to-end route. I think that's nice. It's just a shame in a way that there isn't a little bit more going on. You know, some of these services, it's like, why not a bit more? Yeah, well, certainly the passengers, I'm sure, seem as though they're getting on and off the trains a bit better, I'm sure, than they did on the preview version. But, I mean, that's good anyway, really, because usually the message is always kind of what you get in the preview is going to be exactly as it is. So if they have managed to come up with a superior version, then that's a little bit better. Whether that was deliberate, I don't know. Perhaps they thought, well, we'll deliberately preview with a slightly less good version of it or something stupid. I suppose it is a bit of a climb, but I have to say it seems really sluggish from an acceleration point of view. I suppose it is a little bit uphill, isn't it? But at the moment you kind of think as though he's struggling to even get towards the 70, but there's plenty of buildings there that we've seen repeatedly, I think, on different routes. I think in a lot of the car parks in the London routes from Johannes, you saw them packed full of cars, which was nice. Perhaps I've just not got up to using full throttle. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, I can't remember it ever really. Well, I've driven it a couple of times on West Cornwall local, and I've kind of got a bit bored with it, to be honest. I've enjoyed the runs when you do the St Ives branch. That's quite funny because it's such a undulating little ride. That's quite nice. Yeah, very much enjoying it so far. And it was definitely a question of either or. I couldn't really contemplate getting both this route and the Dutch route, so I'm going to have to wait for the Dutch route to come in a sale, I think, sometime. I noticed they announced the release for the beginning of April for that East Coast Main Line rail tour pack thing as well today. That's for early April, isn't it? Just hurtling into this platform. This might be the first overshoot of the night. I think it's something like $11.99. Yeah, it looked alright. I mean, I'd have been really buzzing for it if it had been a Class 50 and not another 47, but reasonably pleased with it. Well, he talk about the message you get on car parks these days. I suppose it's probably not unrealistic. I like that indifference into the Welsh language. That's good. Yeah, it's quite nice, kind of different looking houses, I think, in the background, and certainly the that bridge going over there is in some detail. But I think Rivet Games have generally been pretty good with station buildings. Yeah, I'll definitely be getting it, and I liked just again I only had a chance to briefly read the article, but I think it was great to see that it's actually layers into absolutely loads of different timetables, so there looks at quite a bit of playability out of it. And I mean, I do remember massively that period when it was the Great Western Railway 150th, and we had Sir Edward Elgar with the 50, and then I think there was two 47s, wasn't there, as I recall. That's definitely got some playability on that, I think. And for all the fact that we've got loads of different Mark 1s already, it's nice. At least maybe this can be the definitive one we can use for other rail tours as well, with different stock. I'm kind of a little bit sick and tired of seeing great looking scenarios, but then it says you need the Peak Forest or that, what's it called, SOS, isn't it, with the other one, the Crew Liverpool one. I'd just love to be able to just carry on. I'd just love to be able to carry on with this route now. We're going towards Rada, and I'd love to be able to just continue its journey. I mean, it'd be great to think that the next stage will be actually expanding this route and finishing off some of these lines, but you kind of assume it's never going to happen. Hope I'm wrong. I'm loving all the work going on there as well. Decapitated by the door. Yeah, Coryton Taffswell Treforest Estate, Pontypridd, Trehafford. I only know Pontypridd because I remember the old rugby scores on Grandstand. The next stop is Taffs Well. Well, wished it was. But I do like the look of it though inside, and I don't know, I think the sounds, I mean, they'll do for me. It'd be nice if we could get some sort of decent mod. Yes, interesting. I mean, I was trying to get the hang of the German routes last weekend, and it needs a lot of practice. There's one or two American routes. I know Amaze Taze isn't greatly impressed by the American routes, but there's one or two American routes. I'm not so bothered about the kind of the commuter style ones on there, but I kind of have a little bit of a interest in that northeast corridor from the time when it was on Microsoft Train Simulator all those years ago. So just out of interest then, I mean, we're at Rada, and yeah, it doesn't go on for much longer, does it? Alright, there's our driver carrying on. Right, let's try walking that side of it. It's like a decapitated myself. It's pretty full. I find it interesting to see how much scenery they've carried on laying beyond where it's supposed to end, and clearly it gets a little bit spaced out in terms of sparseness, but for all that you can kind of see we've got a little bit of the extra mile. Anyway, let's do another one. I won't reload the game at this time because it was only a shortish run. Surely it shouldn't have been too demanding on the game. Well, let's have a go on the 153 this time. Never understand why there's two of them there. It's like, well, they're identical. Mind you, know, there is two different versions, isn't there, of the 153, I seem to remember. And there's absolutely loads of these depot shunts and all that sort of stuff. So the idea is now we're going to do a full run from Coryton to Penarth. Let's try and find one in the afternoon sometime, sort of rush hour-ish time, I'm thinking. Coryton to Penarth, that'll do a 16:40. So that's 36 minutes. We'll be able to see the, I mean, the sounds on the preview of the 153 sounded really good. I was looking up a little bit on Wiki before we started, and I was trying to remember. Of course, the 153s originated as 155s, didn't they? And I think there's a few kind of ones in the Yorkshire area that are still 155s, but essentially they were all pretty much what am I doing here now? That's it. That's it. do like the cab in this. It's nice at least to be started from the proper starting place here. This does feel like an end-to-end run. One of those stations where you kind of think, well, would there really be this many people wandering about? Although they do seem a bit hesitant about what they're doing, though. Yeah, it's good to see the Coryton sign on there with the British Rail. Not so convinced about the grass growing through the road, though. And again, not quite perfection. Again, you're almost convinced that there are bits and pieces that just haven't been finished, and it's kind of the usual thing, particularly for a little bit of a Rivet Games style route, where you kind of think, well, they need to go back off and finish a few odds and ends. Of course, they did actually use authentic sounds for this, didn't they? They used a ScotRail 153. Not sure why there's so many passengers waiting there on the platforms. They must have heard a thing or two about my driving, I think. We shouldn't have too many problems stopping in the platforms here, because we are single carriage, so that should be fairly straightforward. What is your favourite route, Gaming 85? About this being single carriages, it's all well and good, but of course the platforms are obviously going to be dead short as well. Yeah, I mean, that looks a bit bland, doesn't it? It's I don't know these areas massively, obviously, so kind of wondering as well whether we've obviously got this huge boost in products coming out over the last few weeks. So are we going to get all this and then we're going to get absolute silence and then nothing? But it'll be interesting to see about the April roadmap. Could we finally get some news on the Alan Thompson Sim Manchester network? That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. That will be an immediate purchase, I think, although again it's still got its issues over it being not long enough. Just take a bit of getting the hang of these stops, because they are so close together, these stations. Probably not enjoying it as much as the London route, the Mildmay line, but I do like I like this network style. But I think, I mean, overall, I forget what they said in the stream, but it's still only something like about 30 miles, isn't it, in terms of the whole thing? Yes, good tag to you, Christopher. Good evening. Yeah, welcome to the Cardiff City Network. So this is very much in a small train because it's a single unit 153. Hope you're well. It's not going to be a 4-hour stream tonight, that I can guarantee you, but I don't know, we'll see. Perhaps an hour and a bit, see what it's like with these runs. Birchgrove station, I'm happy enough to pronounce that one. Wow, this is a short platform. Yeah, quite like the detail with the way that goes up to the road. That's quite nicely done. Of course, this wouldn't be South Wales, would it, without there being a rugby pitch about, and good to see rugby posts in evidence. Yeah, no worries at all. This is the brand new Cardiff City Network. So it's kind of not quite A to B, but it's centred around Cardiff in the middle. But there's all sorts of little bits, so shortish routes. I mean, this is slightly end to end, but this is, I mean, we're doing here Coryton to Penarth. But you've got kind of bits of routes really, and all centred around. You'll see Cardiff Central when we get to there, and we saw a little bit earlier in the stream. You could see the Cardiff, the Principality Stadium, which was nicely modelled. So Amazed Taze was saying he's not sure whether he's going to buy this route just yet. Oh crumbs! I'm going to way overshoot here. Oh dear! Objective failure. It says. That isn't very good, is it? No, I don't think it is really. I think because the Shrewsbury line would go off towards Newport, and I think that part of the line isn't represented, or the line to Bristol either. It's kind of pretty short. I think we failed with that one, but I mean it's kind of not a huge route. I think it's only something like about 30 miles altogether. You've kind of got your Cardiff bits in the middle here. I think I would imagine that's probably the route that goes on to Newport and eventually to Shrewsbury. It's actually possible. I've got the route on Train Sim Classic where you can do the full run from Cardiff through to Shrewsbury. Actually, let's do that on the stream sometime. Right, try and remember which way we're going. The usual perfect driving, of course. Can't even blame the red wine tonight. These units were built as two cars as the 155s, but they British Rail at the time decided there was a need for single car services, so they made up most of them into single car. So I am enjoying it, but I do think I think it's kind of a shame there are bits and pieces they could have done to make it better. It's kind of like bits of nothing in many ways. I mean, this is a full end-to-end run. At least it's something different. The first time that we've had Wales represented in Train Sim World 5. See what they've done with these roads and stuff, and how it compares with that London route. I mean, I quite like that. There's bits of pavement there, I suppose, but again, it just feels as though it could do with a bit of tidying up in places. He was here. He was watching a bit back, but I don't know whether he's getting some food ready. Yeah, of course, that's the other station. That's not our train. That's the low-level station. We are going to get a bit more life coming in now with Cardiff Queen Street next. So in some ways it's kind of like the 5 circle route, but just the fact that it's a lot shorter. That had got a couple of variations of the route. You can go to Coryton or you can go to Markinch. Ah, excellent. Yeah, that'll be good. So you'll be going on a Thameslink 717. Right, now we can get a bit of speed up for the first time, up to 75. Just bits of this scenery which just doesn't quite feel right. It looks a bit on the rush side. Doesn't quite feel properly up to Train Sim World 5 standards somehow. I do enjoy that route actually, well into Moorgate. It's quite an interesting one and quite a decent one on the game as well. It was kind of the usual price, like £30, and there was a bit of grumbling because I think some people wondered if really, because of the preview and everything else, whether they could have given a bit of a discount for it. And I'm sure that some of the bits and pieces will be ironed out in time, but it's that kind of constant thing, thinking, well, they should be releasing it in a more or less a perfect state. I'm coming into Cardiff Queen Street. There is a Dutch route coming out next week, but I'm going to have to wait until that comes out. Quite like the look of that, and you've kind of got these double-decker trains. Yes, absolutely. Oh, wait a minute, we want left doors, don't we? Not right doors. Yes, he's an expert on those announcements, isn't he? I quite like some of the bits around Cardiff. It does feel pretty busy, and having the Welsh spelling as well. Also all the proper Transport for Wales stuff on the liveries. Oh, we can lock them now, can't we, I think? Okay, we can go. Oh no, we haven't finished loading yet. I like it. have been an absolute shed loads of streams, and the issue is that the so-called Dovetail Games ambassadors get a release copy for free, so they will do that on the day before it's released. So it's released yesterday, so they would have got that out, and they were able to put their videos out up on Monday. So sort of me doing a first look at it, it's kind of like almost 2 days in, although in reality it only came out on the PC at 6 o'clock last night. Yeah, I bet you're thinking now, yeah, but the chap I was watching last night was driving it properly, and it was much more entertaining. I'm sure some of these buildings are being used. That's quite nice. You got that looks like it must be some sort of custom-made thing, because it's got the university sign on the side there. I don't think I've seen that building either. So it's kind of mixed in with a lot of buildings that I've seen over and over again. Yeah, well, I think so. Well, I did that with the Mildmay line actually, but I think the biggest views to be had are always going to be the day before, because it's kind of not available to the public, but they are able to put out their videos in advance. So in a kind of a way, I thought, well, this time I'm not going to go out on the very day it comes out. I thought there's probably going to be a load of streams last night, so I thought I'll leave it an extra night. But it's always a strange balance, really. But some of these new releases, the interest in a kind of a way sort of evaporates pretty quickly, because people are kind of getting to the point where they're fed up of seeing millions and millions of streams, even though it's absolutely brand new. So I'm going to do a bit more on this route on Sunday with the live stream, but it's not going to be the whole night, that's for sure. We'll do the usual couple of bits. This is kind of the creme de la creme, you might say, of the route at Cardiff Central. You've seen this once already, but this is the Principality Stadium behind, alongside the river. It's the River Taff, isn't it? That's quite nicely done. Just dominating the skyline. Oh, actually, we can't go till 1705. Yes, that's the middle door, which we can open, I think. Okay, let's just get out of the seat. I'm not sure if they were actually completely built like that, but we can open it. And if you're connecting up with another carriage, then the idea is you can walk then through the gangway. You can also shut that door as well, and as Larry Grayson might have said, just to give yourself that little bit of an enclosed feel to it as well. I quite like the look of Cardiff and the effort that they've put into make it look reasonably busy. We have got a HSD there in the background, so might be on a Paddington service. Yeah, that's true. I remember being on a Transpennine service where there was I was in first class, so there was free refreshments, but it was kind of that packed that they had loads of people standing, and the man with the trolley couldn't move down the train anyway, so people were like coming to him rather than the other way around. I like it. Totally make me mind up what to say about it, really. I think it's not bad, but I think it'd be nice if we could get it improved a bit. Some of these things finished off. This is Canton Depot, so you've got HST going on there, and you've got the these pits going down, which is quite nice. Yeah, absolutely right. And all this is relatively new because the line from Richmond, which involves Kew, literally has been known forevermore as the North London line. And then I think this whole naming convention for these routes has all come about in the last year, actually, and I don't think everybody agrees with them. And I think, we keep talking about the Goblin line, which is excuse me, Gospel Oak to Barking Riverside, and I think people will forever call it the Goblin line rather than calling it by the Suffragette line, for example. Yeah, I think the Windrush line is the East London line. We've got the Mildmay line, which is now the North London line. And oddly, I was reading that it's called the Mildmay line, even though it's named after a hospital in Bethnal Green. But oddly, the North London line doesn't even go to Bethnal Green, which is a bit weird. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, definitely. And kind of in some ways just unnecessary. I mean, it's a great idea. Well, I'll say great idea. I mean, the tube lines have been named as they are since time immemorial, so it's kind of wasn't necessary. It just wasn't necessary, these overground routes. I mean, of course, the Watford DC line, which has always been called the Watford DC line, from Euston to Watford Junction, is now the Lioness line. Great name for the station coming up, Dingle Road. I like that. Actually finally get some speed up. It's not the most fastest, the most dynamic of routes, this Cardiff City Network. Right. Yeah. Nice area though around Richmond, isn't it? I've never actually been around Kew Gardens, actually, to my I must do that sometime. I mean, I have done the full run actually on the North London line from Richmond to Stratford for no other reason because of the fact that I kind of got it on Train Simulator, and also I've seen cab views of it over the years, so I thought, well, I must do it in real life sometime. Some bit of clag on that Sprinter there, but looked a bit slightly artificial. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, and I was kind of desperate because I've not watched any of these videos. I watched the preview video and I kind of thought it looked all right on there, actually, one or two bits and pieces, and I wasn't sure how I'd feel driving it, and I've kind of steered clear a little bit of some of these other routes that some of the other videos have come out. So kind of enjoying. I like the fact that it's not just A to B, and takes a little bit more thinking about, but it's hard to really feel as though you're getting going when some of these services are just a little bit bits and pieces of routes rather than it being a full end-to-end thing. Nicely done, this single car 153. I mean, I suppose it is the valleys where it takes a little bit of getting used to all this climbing and these hills, and then the descents as well. I know Amaze Taze did say at the start of the video, he says he's not bought it yet, and he kind of watch the video and then make a decision on whether to buy it or not from this stream tonight. I've got a suspicion he might be thinking I might leave this for a while yet. Would have been quite nice if they had got. I mean, you were saying about, you know, a bit of the Shrewsbury line, but if if it had got the whole line, say from Cardiff to Bristol Temple Meads like you have in Train Sim Classic, then that would add a bit of playability in it. Just kind of feels as though some of the playability isn't quite there. I like that chap with the headphones on. The usual skating on ice on the platforms, the usual dovetail games, movement of passengers. That's quite nice. I like that with the those gates and the fencing and all that sort of stuff, I suppose. And yeah, some bits that are quite nicely done. I was sort of determined not to come attacking this from the point of view of thinking it's rubbish even before I start driving it, but I don't know, I'm not sure what to make of it. Penarth is our final stop on this run. I think this is a kind of an end-to-end run, the idea that's been Coryton to Penarth. Definitely had to make sure of the stop there, otherwise we would have been in trouble. Seem to have seen that white building there virtually all over the route, a little bit overused. I mean, some of the streets in and around on the North London line, not completely finished off, but it didn't take far for it to get there. I like that idea with the enclosed pitch there. I think that's quite decent. Okay, well that was that one. So it's about 30 odd minutes, and I think that's about the most you can get on this route. We'll perhaps do a short kind of like depot thing, which is there's a few absolute ton of scenarios coming out of Canton Depot, so we'll do one of them perhaps, and then we'll do a kind of a shorter run. No, I don't think so, I'm afraid. think there is a theory. I think you can get a refund on them, but I think it kind of depends on the use that you've had out of it, and I've probably passed that point already. Yeah, definitely won't be able to make 4 hours out of this on Sunday, that's for sure. We'll do a couple of runs. I'll see by the time Sunday comes around if we can find something that'll just add a little bit something different on there. I mean, actually, somebody said, I mean, we haven't got a 143 pacer, but it would have been quite nice to have had a 142 pacer in use on this route, because it'd be kind of ideal for the pacer in many ways. Right, so let's have a look at one of these depot moves then. And I mean, even Cardiff Central, I mean, it's Barry Island. I mean, again, that would have been quite a decent run to go through to Barry Island, but we haven't even got a full run there. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Tell you what, we'll go for the summer. So this is quite early, 5:10. I think the idea of the network's a great idea, but the biggest criticism is it's kind of like you've got a bit of one route and then a bit of another. That would have made quite a nice thumbnail actually in the depot, I presume. I wonder if you can actually walk under it, just out of interest. Let's just see. Okay, we can't get out through there, can we? We'll have to go out this way and go. Try and decapitate myself in the process. Can we drop down? That's a shame. I'd like to have been able to walk down, but we're magically floating along the top there. I do like the detail that they've put into here. Thank you, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, slightly disappointing you can't drop down to there. It would have been quite nice and walked underneath the train. Maybe there's a way somehow. We're nice. It's nice to see as well that we're in the depot and we are empty, because you get occasionally quirks in train sim world where you get trains sitting in the depot and it's rammed full of passengers, so that's quite a nice touch. as well. Right, okay, so let's get the train set up. So if I can get round to installing it again or reinstalling it, then might just have a go at doing a King's Cross to Cambridge run on Sunday on Train Sim Classic. I like the moving fan there as well that we just saw. Yeah, they modelled this depot really nicely. Probably shouldn't be sounding the horn at 13 minutes past 5 in the morning. Oh, I know what you mean, yeah, definitely. But the only time when I found it tolerable with something like that was in November. I had a trip to Southport, and it happened to be on a night when Liverpool were playing, and this Scouser had got the game on, and and I mean, tell you what though, he didn't actually have the game playing, the audio playing, but I was kind of amused by his just raw enthusiasm. He really was living and breathing every second of it, which was fascinating to see. People often have to shout as well, don't they, when they're on the phones on trains as well. I mean, nowadays it's almost a rarity for actually anybody to have a conversation on the phone, though, I suppose, but... Tell you what, though, and this time of the morning, though, and in the summer, it looks, it does look pretty nice. I mean, the sounds of this train have come in for a hell of a lot of flack, but I don't know, sounds all right to me. I can't see any great annoyances. Maybe a bit bouncy there over the points, but yeah, I think it's people have just got no self-awareness, have they, of just how irritating they can be sometimes. Actually, we need to be a bit further down this platform. Ha 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 ha! Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I think you can. There you go. I wasn't sure. I was going to say there's probably going to be no noise from it, but I'm very pleased to see that there is, because Do you know, sitting here, I could almost feel that fan. Just out of interest, what service is this supposed to now represent, I wonder? Oh, it's the Manchester Piccadilly one. I mean, although these units aren't used for such long journeys in real life, having kicked out of the seat, look, then I know that it has happened occasionally. I know my brother got a train from where was it? Crewe, I think, to Manchester, and it happened to be one of these when it should have been something slightly more exotic. Yeah, I've got a few passengers on board now. Sadly, we can't get in the toilets. Yeah, you see that's got all the real station down. I mean, that's a nice touch. That train isn't due off. Well, yeah, it's due off actually 5:20. Yes, absolutely. We'll wait for this train to leave. But this would be stopping at Shrewsbury. Yeah, I do like the feeling of Cardiff, and it's nice to have the modern electric wires in now. Of course, it's only been electrified the last few years. So we'll wait for this to drive and to depart, and then we'll take another service out shortly. Yes, I have to say. I mean, I was pleased with that actually. With the when I did the when we put together the thumbnail, me and Dan last night. But it was I thought that was a fantastic thing. Be good if we could actually see people actually on them, actually walking about the streets. I think it is quite a big thing in and around Cardiff. Sadly, we don't have the concourse represented. People are kind of not very happy about that. I think that's where it's supposed to be, but there's no double black doors like that in real life. It's a shame because all this detail is lovely and all the adverts and everything else, but as far as it'll let us go there. Right, so that's that. So perhaps just do one last run, I think. It's not going to be a absolutely mega stream, and having said that, it's 5 to 9, isn't it? So it's been an hour and 25 minutes. So shall we do another 150? There is only one service on the for the HST, unfortunately, and it's only a quick one from the depot. Shall we do one of those? What have we got? Cardiff Central to... well, it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes. We'll do this one to Cogan, I think. So it's a Barry Island service. That's a nice shot with the two ice trains, the more modern, or the ICE, the more modern one on the left, and then the older, more square version that you got, one of the earlier, I think, well, the first version of it. So this side of the station hasn't got any electric wires in. I know, just an absolute pity, I think, because we're only going to a short part of this route. It's only like 10 minutes. And I believe it only would have been something like 6 miles to put in Barry Island. And again, you just think that's a real lack of invention, because if they could have put Barry Island in, then they would immediately have had a lot more interest, surely. Yeah, it does look nice in the sort of the early morning sunlight. This is kind of on a early June day. You believe it or not, Matt Pedalston said on the stream, he says, "Oh, is Gavin and Stacey set on Barry Island?" He says, "I've never watched it," which I almost thought was unbelievable. I thought everybody's seen Gavin and Stacey by now, but I guess not everybody, obviously. Cracking. Actually, no, we're already shut, aren't we? Yeah. Have I got this off into forward? I can't remember now. Yep, yeah, I have. Right, so the doors are shut. We need proper headlights on. Oh, locked doors, it says. I've locked the doors. Oh no. I stand corrected. Of course, that would be reality, because the interlock would come into effect, so you wouldn't be able to set the train moving. Yeah, exactly right. And you might have heard Amaze Taze talk a little bit about Rivet Games. I might have mentioned them, but Dovetail Games, there's a load of third-party companies who build these routes, and one of those is a company called Rivet Games, and they've always had this reputation of not quite finishing off what they brought out. So there's a massive suspicion that this is a Rivet Games route. I don't know whether he actually tells you this in the manual or not. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I think what we perhaps need to do on one of the runs on Sunday is see if I could do a. I think they had class 37s on short runs at one point on this route, so we could perhaps do some sort of shortish class 37 run just to see if we can get a short formation of the thing going. That's nice view of the stadium there in the background. Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, I think, I mean, I've heard them say that they're not kind of obliged to say nice things about them, and they are obliged. They can criticise stuff, but it's kind of the old thing, isn't it, about biting the hand that feeds you and all that. You're not going to rush out and say that it's an absolute load of rubbish. I'll try and pop together a bit of a review of it if I get the chance over the next few days, a bit like what I did with the Mildmay line, but I'll try and be as positive as I possibly can. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, I'm enjoying it to a degree, and there's some bits. I mean, there I like that. You know, you've got this lovely distant view. And again, that's just something you never really used to get in Train Sim Classic. You can see all the buildings going off into the distance there. Yeah, definitely right. Yeah, 100%. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, wow! Look at how far distant the scenery goes there. I mean, although, you know, you probably get a bit further on and you'll find that things aren't quite as idyllically joined as they might be, but you know, kind of, you've obviously not going to get pavements and stuff and roads out this far, but it's enough to fill the gap, I guess. Always a massive glitch that unfortunately is a constant on Train Sim World 5, where it kind of glitches in and out of the sometimes like that, how it did there. I don't know. I mean, out of, I mean, I don't own all of them, but out of the British stuff, I'm not sure. This isn't. It has to be fairly low down, I would say, and I think it needs a bit of work to just tidy some things up a little bit. But I just feel all these runs are just a bit too short, and you kind of want something that's really playable. And I mean, that's what I loved about that North London line. It's just so busy, and you kind of get that imminent feel of busyness in and around London. You've got the Boris buses going on, you've got taxis, you've got people walking about, and it just immediately grabbed my attention as being lovely. But not quite the same with this. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? And they're all very similar. You're driving two lots of sprinters where you don't go very fast, and you're stopping every few yards, so it's not kind of that exciting, really. Completely agree. You know, the trains are quite nicely modelled. The 150s looks nice in the Transport for Wales colours. I like the 153, but yeah, it's definitely something lacking. And again, you know, like I said, having things like Barry Island included, and you know, there's I don't even know some of these places, but kind of Aberdare to Merthyr Tydfil's one route, but you kind of neither got Aberdare nor you've got Merthyr Tydfil. And that's the end of that run as well. So I think we're gonna call it a day. So we'll be back on Sunday with the usual live stream. So we will do a little bit more on this route, but certainly aren't going to spend 4 hours doing it, that's for sure. So perhaps do a couple of runs, but there'll be plenty of other stuff as well to hopefully be a bit more exciting. Want to be a bit more like Newcastle United, the way they played on Sunday. That was more thrilling, has to be said. So thanks everybody for watching, and hope you've enjoyed having a look at this anyway. So I think I'm kind of thinking we're going to have a one Train Sim Classic route. I might have to reinstall the route, but I think King's Cross to Cambridge is definitely going to be one run. We'll do another go on the Mildmay line, on the North London line, and we'll do another couple on this, but we'll see. I'm not totally sure. I'll have to plan that out now, because I was hoping to spend a bit more time on this route on Sunday, but I think it's kind of going to be, I don't know, we could maybe do an hour of this at the most out of the 4 hours, so there's a little bit of a hole to fill at the moment. I'll have to have a think, but there's plenty of options that we could do. So thank you very much for watching, as ever, and your support massively appreciated. And anybody else that's watched, and hope you've enjoyed watching it. If you've not subscribed to the channel before, it'd be gratefully appreciated if you consider liking and subscribing. So 5 o'clock Sunday, the usual live stream, and So I'm going to say good night at this point. Thank you for watching again. It's good night from Power Flower Trains and Planes.